And first up tonight at 6, they didn't see this coming. 3 men behind bars tonight.
And they're using that term men very loosely. But for all intents and purposes, man, these are son teens, man. Mentally, man. Mental son teens.
And first up tonight at 6, they didn't see this coming. 3 men behind bars tonight after a potential victim turned the tables on his alleged carjackers. His secret, he's trained in mixed martial arts.
And that wouldn't have meant nothing if they would have had a gun. And he would have been the second combat sports fighter that got taken out by the rays of the sun this week. He's very lucky.
Potential victim turned the tables on his alleged carjackers. His secret, he's trained in mixed martial arts. Thank you for being here with us at 6 o'clock. I'm Lorenzo Hall. We suggest you don't try this at home. A man in Virginia...
And you can't tell me that people aren't tired of this crap. Even though this brother can't say nothing about this crap that's going on, all this crime and this bold and brazen crimes. The fact that they don't get punished for it, there's no repercussions for it, it's just catch and release. You can look at this brother's face and tell that he's actually happy that these sun rays got their comeuppance. He can't say anything about it. He can't do an op-ed like he would if one of those sun teens got killed by police. But he can still, smile about it.
Thank you for being here with us at 6 o'clock. I'm Lorenzo Hall. We suggest you don't try this at home. A man in Virginia fights off men attempting to steal his car thanks to that MMA training. It happened just before 5 p.m. yesterday, right outside of an Anytime Fitness parking lot in Stafford. Our Bruce LaShan has the twists and turns of this story.
The Stafford Sheriff's Office says the 3 young suspects were running out of gas in their car. So instead of filling up, they decided to carjack a guy.
And you guys got to understand that that's how quick it happens. I've been there. That's how quick it happens. This is not like the movie Heat where there's planning, and sometimes they do that. But a lot of this stuff is just, man, we ain't no gas. Let's just take that guy's car. And there's no thought of we're going to get caught, we're going to ruin our lives. The thought is worst case scenario. We get arrested, we get out the next day. They give us a trial date in 2023. And the prosecutor throws it out before it even gets to the trial. Worst case scenario.
The Stafford Sheriff's Office says the 3 young suspects were running out of gas in their car. So instead of filling up, they decided to carjack a guy. It was here in the parking lot of the Anytime Fitness gym.
Dude, this is crazy. I never would have guessed it would have happened at my gym.
The guy they picked to target was their first mistake. Turned out he was a mixed martial artist. And as they allegedly hit him with a stick that was so big, he thought it was a baseball bat. He fought back. He did, though, eventually drop his keys. They grabbed him, jumped into his car. But when they tried to drive it, well, that was a different matter. Turned out it was a stick shift.
These got to be the 3 unluckiest guys to ever walk the face of the earth, man. They run into an MMA fighter. The car's a stick shift. They don't have a gun. It would be hopefully these guys turn away from crime and say, look, this is just not for us. Of course they won't do that because there'll be no consequences for this crime. But it would be good if these guys just turned away from crime and found something else to do. And the guy so cavalierly says, They hit the guy, the glacier glider, with a stick so big he thought it was a baseball bat. Could you imagine if 3 glacier gliders ran up on a Sunman? Let's just say the Sunman spitting all 3 of their faces. And 3 glacier gliders picked up a stick and started beating them. Could you imagine? That would be CNN, MSNBC. Rachel Maddow would be salivating. Joy Reid would be... she would be in a euphoric state. They would have found racial gold, as Jason Whitlock calls it. It would be... all the blue checks would be chiming in. They wouldn't tell you that the guy spitting all 3 of those guys' faces. And then once it came out, it wouldn't matter. We still need to have a conversation on race. But this way, no one can. It doesn't even register like that. That these 3 Sunmen attacked a glacier glider with a huge stick, unprovoked.
And the guy they picked to target was their first mistake. Turned out he was a mixed martial artist. And as they allegedly hit him with a stick that was so big, he thought it was a baseball bat. He fought back. He did, though, eventually drop his keys. They grabbed him, jumped into his car. But when they tried to drive it, well, that was a different matter. Turned out it was a stick shift.
And they were unfamiliar with how a manual transmission works, so they were unable to steal the car.
Finally gave up, got out of the car, were attacked by a number of other folks from the gym, but they eventually got back in the first car that they came in and took off in that. Sheriff's deputies say they eventually spotted the suspects in their Acura on Garrisonville Road, just about at 95. Instead of stopping, they say the suspects got onto the interstate and took off at speeds up to 98 miles an hour.
Didn't I tell you the roads are dangerous? They 98 miles per hour. I used to drive that fast, but at night when I was driving on the highway and there weren't a lot of cars on the highway, they're driving middle of the day, 98 miles per hour, weaving in and out of traffic, of course, fleeing the police. This is what leads to a lot of these. And it's a direct, and if you're paying attention, you can see how directly it stems from the emboldening of criminals. You can see the dots. Most people will be able to connect dots. Most.
Sheriff's deputies say they eventually spotted the suspects in their Acura on Garrisonville Road, just about at 95. Instead of stopping, they say the suspects got onto the interstate and took off at speeds up to 98 miles an hour, eventually breaking through the barrier arm onto the HOV lanes and going the wrong way against traffic. We are so lucky that they didn't run head on into somebody.
Correct. This could have been a tragic situation.
The 3 suspects, Jabez Clark, Corey Richardson, and Jacob Land, are now charged with counts including carjacking, robbery, conspiracy, malicious wounding, assault, vandalism, and possession of burglary robbery tools. They are being held without bond in the Rappahannock Regional Jail. In Stafford, Bruce LaShan, WUSA 9.
So I don't think that this runner Justin Bieber, Dustin Seaver, is the guy, the mixed martial artist. I think he's just a witness. But I do think he's one of the guys who helped attack the 3 the 3 disenfranchised victims of supremacy that were just turning their lives around. I think he's one of the crowd that came out and attacked them and forced them to jump back in their car and speed down the highway 98 miles per hour for miles before crashing, when allegedly they wanted to carjack the guy because they didn't have any gas. So maybe they were on a quarter tank. So that gives you even more insight into this. It's not even like they was on E. They wasn't even on E. It was like, we got a quarter tank. We broke, man. We need some gas. That's how emboldened and brazen these guys are nowadays. And I'm actually a pretty handsome guy, man. Now that I think about it. Need to go to the barber shop, man. But damn, man, I didn't even realize how handsome I was, man. Thank you guys, man, for helping me realize that. But man, no joko, man. Brothers, man. Brothers just out here, man. Like, man, let me just take this guy's car. Like, man, it's crazy out here. I'm glad that the guy just, was able to defend himself and long enough for people to come outside and help him, because he was down 3-1. And I'm glad nobody shot these Sun men because, it would have been a conversation on race, and we would have got half the story. We wouldn't have gotten the whole story. How many of y'all know that? Had that guy pulled out a gun and shot one of these, or all 3 of these guys, and somebody had took the room temperature challenge and not made it, how many of y'all know that we wouldn't have got this whole accurate story of the keys were dropped and this? And notice how they gave us every single detail.
Says the 3 young suspects were running out of gas in their car. So instead of filling up, they decided to carjack a guy. It was here in the parking lot of the Anytime Fitness gym.
Dude, I mean, this is crazy. I mean, I never would have guessed it would have happened at my gym.
The guy they picked to target was their first mistake. Turned out he was a mixed martial artist. And as they allegedly hit him with a stick that was so big, he thought it was a baseball bat. He fought back. He did, though, eventually drop his keys. They grabbed him, jumped into his car. But when they tried to drive it, well, that was a different matter. Turned out it was a stick shift.
Hit one if you think if he would have pulled out a gun and shot one of these fools, that we would have got all that detail. All those nuggets and anecdotes about the story. Or we would have just got a glacier glider shot 3 Sunmen who were asking them for money for gas. They were running low on gas and they asked the guy, could they borrow some money for gas? Or they asked him for a ride or some crap. It'd be some crap we would be hearing. But it wouldn't have been the real story. Get in the comment section, hit the like button, subscribe. Peace. I'm out.